Time of Need by F.M. Busby. Originally published in the August 1974 issue of Vertex magazine and republished in a collection of the author's stories entitled Getting Home in 1987. Read by Darrell T. Smith II for my channel Quasar Spectra. Time of Need. The Earth Woman needs me, and I her. If I had not found her, each of us would have died alone. But now her blood runs sweet in its cycle between us. In return, as with the hlurin, I sense the needs of that blood and feed into it the essences my body makes, lacking in the food she gathers here. The filaments at the ends of my blood tubes read her senses. They are stronger than mine and more vivid, more so even than those of a hluri. Her awareness is much greater than theirs. It may be equal to my own. I cannot follow her thoughts in detail. I receive only fragments of memory, concepts, and intentions. And unlike the hlurin, she cannot receive my thoughts or control impulses. I can, of course, affect or block her senses. Her picture of me is that of a short cloak hanging from her neck, rippling with iridescent color. The concept interests me. The hlurin have no such image of our kind. We are here as they are, and they accept us. When I found her, she was lying on the sand, with no use of her awareness. At first sight, she looked much like an overgrown hluri, except for the coverings of her body, which I then thought to be a part of her, and her short fur, it is yellow, also leaves bare her face and limbs. I was midway of a journey I had undertaken alone. I should have been safe enough, with days to spare before my fulfilled eggs brought forth the egglings. But suddenly my hluri weakened and died. I do not know why. It was young, and its blood came and went with good vigor. So, perilously near starvation, I was creeping slowly in the only way we have of ourselves, when I came to the Earth Woman. Thinking her to be a hluri, I was overjoyed, and moved faster against my weakness. But no. She was something I had never seen. Still, perhaps, the risk was great, but to avoid it was to die. At first I thought the venture had failed, for her blood was sour and noxious. But I persisted, and soon, each giving to the other's need, our strengths returned. Her breath slowed and became deeper. She stirred, rolling onto her back, onto me. She is heavier than a hluri, but the discomfort was minor. I waited, heeding the confusions of her awareness as it slept. Late in that day she woke. Her eyes opened. The impact caught me unprepared. I was drowned in hues and brightnesses I had never known. Then came the burst of her awareness. Trying to absorb its scope, I was paralyzed. The hlurin think of food, comfort, and, in season, breeding. To know this new creature was like knowing one of ourselves, but directly rather than through vibrations. For a time I did not think even to try to take control in the normal fashion. Though I could not evoke her thought at will nor choose what I would experience, I learned much, for her awareness was busy. I saw much that I did not, still do not, understand. She was from another place called Earth, but where it is I do not know. She had been traveling high above the sand, through the air in some way not clear to me, and then had been unable to travel further. Moving on the sand for some days, she had eaten all her own food, which in some way maintains her blood without need for one of us, and then had resorted to eating that which grows here, and she, as I, had come near to death. When first she rose, she did not notice me, for I hung behind her. When she did see me, or brushed me with her arm, I'm not certain which first occurred, she stroked me with her fingers and seemed pleased. Then she felt our points of attachment at her neck. She made distressed sounds and tried to tear me away. She could not succeed, nor injure me. We are not fragile, though we may appear so. But for the first time I sought to exert control, to quiet her. I could not. She did not seem to feel the impulses, let alone respond to them. Abandoning the effort, I tried to give her my own thought and sense impressions so she would know I was also aware. It was obvious that she received nothing. She pulled and tugged the harder and made louder noises. I could only wait, and eventually she calmed, realizing that no hurt had come to her. Then also came the thought that she had been near death and was restored, and what but myself could be responsible? I felt in her a sense of relief, mixed, I think, with the wish not to have pulled at me and made the noises. She stood, walked about, and fed upon the sparse growths around us. Then she gathered the things she carried with her. The Hlurin do not carry things except under our control, and set out walking. I sensed her intention. It was to return to her own point of origin, Earth, I supposed, though the concept was confused, and rejoin others like herself. Her course posed a problem. I sympathized with her wish to be with other Earth women. Again, there was confusion in the image I received, and also welcomed further contact between them and our own kind. The difficulty was that she was walking toward neither the origin of my journey nor its destination, but away from both, and before we left the areas I knew I needed to add to our company a Hluri, or preferably two. So, lacking direct control, I tried another way to turn her toward my original destination. When I dimmed her vision on one side to turn her toward the other, she hesitated but continued movement. When I blocked it entirely, she stopped, and for the first time her thought included the concept of my awareness. But her intent was strong. Again, she walked in the direction of her own choosing. I blocked the other side also. She could see nothing. After a pause, I restored that side, then allowed a moment of sight on the other to tell her that to see fully she need only turn. Sensory blockage is a limited means of communication, but the Hlurin respond to it when it is more convenient to guide them without exerting full control. With her greater awareness, I felt that she should grasp the concept easily. She understood. I was certain she did, but she would not turn. Like a Hluri at the peak of breeding cycle, she was totally subject to her own urge. I did not need her thoughts to know her feelings. Her blood tasted of fright and anger. I did not realize my own need. There was no way I could tell her. We contested for a time. I blocked her vision completely. By touch, she found a stick with which to probe ahead for obstacles, and proceeded slowly. I blocked hearing. She slowed further, but still continued. I blocked the sensation of surface touching. She lost the stick and dropped to proceed even more slowly on all four limbs. Her blood told of feelings I had not known, and I felt the pain of them as she did. So after a time, since I was failing of my purpose and our pain was to no point, I restored her senses and abandoned all effort to guide. In part, my feeling of defeat was mixed with relief. It had not been pleasant, risking injury to her as she fumbled without warning senses. There was a chance, I thought, that her destination might be near enough that we could reach it without disaster, or that we would meet another traveler willing to accompany us or lend me a Hluri or two. At necessity, one of us can maintain 3 Hlurin, or if activity is moderate, one of them nourish 3 of us. And if the distance were too far, and we met no one? I had tried to turn her. We traveled many days but saw no one. I do not know the distance. She moves faster than the Hlurin. Slowly and incompletely we learned of each other, though by the nature of our contact I learned the more. In small ways she came to accept my guidance. Often when we crossed areas where food was scarce, I noticed hidden plants that she did not. At first I dimmed or blocked vision in momentary intervals until she paused and looked around. Later I found I could intensify her sight in the desired direction. The new method was quicker and easier for both. Our relationship became more complex, more rewarding than is possible with a Hlury, even though we could communicate less fully. I found that her kind breed as do the Hlurin, but at will, not by cycle. They do many things, and much more, that the Hlurin do, or can do, only under our control. They are, in my view, almost a combination of ourselves and Hlurin, together in the same form. And I learned that inside her also a fulfilled egg was growing to term. She could learn of me only indirectly by the things I could show her, how to look for food where it is scarce, how to avoid the rare places of treacherous footing, the things we must know to live. She came to realize that something like the Hlurin must exist, or else I could not, but nothing of what they are like, nor the degree of our mutual need. I am not certain whether she became aware that I have my own senses, independent of hers, though inferior to them. I do not know, nor did she, how near we might be to her destination, to others of her kind, but we shall go no further. My time is here, and she would not turn. I wish it were not so. If we had reached her goal, there would be other creatures that could serve. Had I not chosen to breed at the last togethering, this time would not be upon me, nor upon the one whose eggs I fulfilled in return. But once begun, we have no control over this aspect of our lives. Against my wishing, my body has produced the essences that spread quickly through her blood. She can no longer move. I have blocked all her senses, her awareness, shut off not only from all that is outside, but also from what her own body would tell her is in much turmoil, but will be free of pain. It will not know when it ends, I think. The Hlurin do not, in the rare times we must use them in this way. My eggs have opened. The egglings move into her. As they must, they will feed and grow, and in that feeding she will die. Without her, I will die also, and my egglings with me. I wish I could have made her turn. But most of all, I wish she could know that her death comes only from my body, not from my will. You've been listening to pre-1990s speculative fiction readings with a highlight on science fiction by Darrell T. Smith II. Please consider clicking the donation link in the description box. Thank you so much for your time and your imagination.